Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster, was an American serial killer and sex offender who committed the murder and dismemberment of 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. Many of his later murders involved necrophilia, cannibalism, and the permanent preservation of body parts, typically all or part of the skeleton. So in this video, we are going to tell you who was Jeffrey Dahmer. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. By most accounts, Dahmer had a normal childhood. However, he became withdrawn and uncommunicative as he got older. He began showing little to no interest in hobbies or social interaction as he entered adolescence, turning instead to examining animal carcasses and heavy drinking for entertainment. His drinking continued throughout high school, but did not stop him from graduating in 1978. It was just 3 weeks later that the 18-year-old committed his first murder. Due to his parents' unfolding divorce that summer, Jeffrey was left in the family home alone. He seized the opportunity to act on the dark thoughts that had been growing in his mind. He picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks and offered to take him back to his father's house to drink beer. But when Hicks decided to leave, Dahmer hit him in the back of the head with a 10-pound dumbbell. Dahmer then dissected, dissolved, pulverized, and scattered the now imperceptible remains throughout his backyard, and later admitted to killing him simply because he wanted Hicks to stay. 9 years would pass before he killed again. Dahmer attended college that fall, but dropped out due to his alcoholism. After that, his father forced him to enlist in the army, where he served as a combat medic in Germany from 1979 to 1981. However, he never kicked the habit and was discharged that spring, moving back home to Ohio. After his drinking continued to cause problems, his father sent him to live with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin. By 1985, he was frequenting gay bathhouses, where he would drug men and rape them as they lay unconscious. Although he was arrested twice for incidents of indecent exposure in 1982 and 1986, he only faced probation and was not charged for the rapes. During a 13-year period, Dahmer, who lived primarily in the Midwest, murdered at least 17 men. Most of these men were young, gay African Americans who Dahmer lured back to his home, promising to pay them money to pose nude for photographs. Dahmer would then drug and strangle them to death, generally mutilating and occasionally cannibalizing their bodies. Dahmer was finally arrested on July 22, 1991, and entered a plea of guilty but insane in 15 of the 17 murders he confessed to committing. In February 1992, the jury found him sane in each murder, and he was sentenced to 15 consecutive life sentences. 2 years later, Dahmer was killed at the age of 34 by fellow inmate Christopher Scarver, who also fatally beat the third man on their work detail, inmate Jesse Anderson. Scarver, already serving a life term for murder, was sentenced to additional life terms and transferred to federal prison. Scarver, played by Furley Mack in Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, beat Dahmer to death with a weight bar before also killing Anderson. According to a 2015 interview with the New York Post, Scarver attacked Dahmer because the cannibalistic serial killer would taunt other inmates by fashioning severed limbs out of prison. He would put them in places where people would be. Scarver, who was 45 at the time, told the outlet. He crossed the line with some people, prisoners, prison staff. Some people who are in prison are repentant, but he was not one of them. Christopher is still alive and imprisoned at the Centennial Correctional Facility in Colorado after he was given 2 additional life sentences for killing Dahmer. In 2015, he began writing and publishing poetry books while he was still in jail. When Jeffrey was arrested, investigators found a myriad of gruesome evidence in his apartment, including severed heads in the freezer, human hearts, a whole torso, and human skulls atop his computer. There were Polaroids of his deceased victims, which he said during Inside Edition that it was his way of remembering their appearance and their physical beauty. Then there was the evidence that some of Jeffrey's victims' body parts had been consumed. Police recorded over 60 hours of audio in which Jeffrey described in gruesome detail some of his crimes. Once he fried the biceps of a man in oil. But eventually, Killing his victims wouldn't be enough. He used a meat tenderizer and ate the muscle because it was big and he wanted to try it, Police Detective Dennis Murphy said, according to the Associated Press. He stated it tasted like beef. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.